Refereeing issue भी दिक्कत कर सकते हो.
Are we live?
Refereeing issues है.
Yes, we are live now.
Okay. Hello guys, this is Abhijit. I am from we are from MFC Red Devil NCR, and we are back live with some interesting stuffs from day to day topics. We have our own Mojo sir, legendary sir. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Abhijit. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. We have Mudit sir joining with us, and we have Abhishar Bhai joining from straight from the New York. So it's a glad to be connecting with you again, Abhishar Bhai.
Yeah,
So
thanks for
I
having me.
want to start with Mojo sir. That how do you rate the yesterday's performance, and what positive and what negatives do you see from the last game, the Europa League? Over to you,
Uh,
sir.
I think ये जो हमारा पूरा यूरोपा का कैंपेन रहा है, it's been a slightly below average kind of campaign. We weren't playing any so-called world beater sort of a team. I mean, ठीक है, यूरोपा में थे, so you don't expect a world beater sort of a team there. But then the group that we had, consisting of Sheriff and Ammonia, you were expected to beat them. But then we struggled beating those teams as well. So, but that's where a bit of a spanner comes in. क्योंकि अगर उन दोनों teams को अच्छी तरह हराया होता with a decent enough goal difference, we could still be top of the group. So that was a bit of a bummer. But the important thing is you qualified for the next stage, which we did. But those two games जो हमें extra खेलने पड़ेंगे with one of the dropouts from Champions League, that's going to hurt us in the second part of the season post the World Cup, because that's going to be a jammed calendar. Absolutely. Performance-wise, ठीक था. I mean, for a manager who's just come in, barely had 3 to 4 weeks before the season started. The season started with a nightmare. To then modify his way of playing to adjust to the sort of players he has and then form the strategy accordingly. I think we are progressing well. And if anything, I would think that I always thought that Carabao, FA Cup, and your Europa should be used by Eric Ten Hag to actually assess what the players are all about, but be very serious in the Premier League. And I think that's what he's found out, because यूरोपा में हमने झंडे नहीं गाड़े हैं किसी भी मैच में. और अगर शेरिफ को आई थिंक वी बीट देम 3-0 away, it wasn't like rocket science. You could beat them in your sleep. तो बस यही है कि ठीक है, I mean we went through, no fireworks, but we definitely need to improve with the next round, because we are going to be facing one of the better teams. So that's where I am at. Decent campaign, but nothing too great.
Mudit sir, I want to ask you, did we lack yesterday some quality players in in the play in the starting lineup, or you can say on the bench? Did
I
that cost in the tactics for Ten Hag to win the game?
I think the Spaniards played like Italians first of all, and they did not want to lose. They ensured that we definitely showed intent, but it's not like they didn't show intent at all. They were attacking too, but they were playing with a mindset that if we can't win, we won't lose. We can see that in the amount of time that they wasted, the amount of times they got down in not so rash challenges. And the major issue is, ठीक है, draw हुआ, all good, fine. But the fixture congestion that this brings us is something that will affect our season, according to me, and it will prove to be a hindrance in the long run. Now we go to see our schedule between Jan to May. We have different dates that have been added now, apart from the rescheduled fixtures due to the Queen's demise, which will be added onto our calendar. So we will have like only three vacant midweeks from Jan till the end of the season, which is absolutely insane according to me. Because if football is going to continue from Jan to May, just 3 vacant midweeks, and that is where our season could either go great or go awful.
Uh, we have one question to Mojo sir. Prakash Mandal has pointed out one question that what do you say have to say about the Ronaldo miss? Did yesterday we were also discussing about the same with Kushagra. Did Kushagra pointed out that this miss could be an you can haunt us. So did that miss haunted sir?
I mean, yeah, game के result के हिसाब से देखो तो yes, it definitely haunted us. But Ronaldo over the last what 5 to 6 months has not been himself. Look, I'm a staunch Ronaldo supporter and a staunch Ronaldo fan. लेकिन मैं ये जरूर कहूंगा मैं रोनाल्डो फैन हूं जब वो यूनाइटेड के लिए खेलता है. I wasn't too fussed about what Ronaldo was doing with his career when he was at Real Madrid. Yes, he was having his battles with Messi or whatnot. I couldn't care less. But when he plays for United, I'm a Ronaldo fan. But last 4 months, he's not been himself. 4 to 5 months. Now, you call it the personal matter, which has been highlighted a number of times. You call it struggling with some sort of depression, which a few videos have come out of some, people who have spoken to him or Ronaldo has consulted them. Whatever be the case, yes, that miss yesterday did affect us. And I'm 100% convinced Ronaldo is big time short in confidence and self belief right now. All of us go through this phase. All of us, no matter which stage of life we are in, we are starting out afresh. We are, bang in the middle of the peak of our careers, or we are on a way down. Whatever the situation might be, all of us go through a time when we doubt ourselves, when we are not too focused on our strengths. So a Ronaldo of 2 years ago, or even a Ronaldo of last season, would have put that chance away. So yes, that miss did cost us. But then, being a Ronaldo fan that I am, I wouldn't hold it against him because um, I think the guy is suffering on multiple fronts right now.
Also, I want to point that, sir, that that chance, it was created by Real Sociedad. Actually, their error led to that, one, we capital, Ronaldo, gone through the box and didn't, score. But it was not our build-up that, it would cost us to, we didn't score.
True.
But in,
But
but in,
absolutely,
but it,
absolutely right. Because apart from that one um, goal that we scored, again, I mean, हम Ronaldo के miss की बात कर रहे हैं, but then that assist for the Garnacho goal was provided for by Ronaldo. So
yes,
मैं किसी अपने WhatsApp ग्रुप पे मैसेज कर रहा था that somebody like आजकल Ronaldo is a hot topic for reasons only known to people why they want to have a go at him. But अगर रोनाल्डो की जगह वहां पे रैशफोर्ड होता हम वो गोल नहीं कर रहे होते because Rashford would have taken the ball himself and tried to score himself rather than pass it to
yes,
Garnacho. So
yes.
Ronaldo had that sight to see that Garnacho can have that angle and he can attack the box and score, which he did. So he did provide an assist. लेकिन हाँ वो miss अगर नहीं होती वो गोल हो जाता तो we could have been sitting on the top of the table.
Okay, interesting comments from Mojo sir. I just want to ask Mudit sir that how do you assess the yesterday's goal of Garnacho? A young kid of 18 years old, and he, just passed that attack, and he scored some brilliant goal. How do you see assessment of his Garnacho yesterday's performance?
So, I mean, look, we celebrate every youth player that comes through from the academy, and we've seen Rashford do it, we've seen Mason do it. Okay, let's move ahead with that. But yeah, but we celebrated that guy, and Garnacho is no different. The fact that if you could see the goal celebration with Ronaldo, I mean, it's going viral across Twitter. I mean,
Yeah,
that showed a lot as to what's going on behind the scenes. Moments like these in games, you can see कि क्या हो रहा होगा training ground में, it's the team spirit that a young kid with an all-time legend celebrating in the same style. Of course, goal celebrations are overrated according to me, but it was a moment. And at that moment, I was kind of just a fool's thought that this could be the beginning of the rise of a great future player. And with his movement, not just with his technical ability or with his dribbling skills, but with his movement, he actually helped Ronaldo to kind of play much better with him alongside. So what I'm seeing in Garnacho is that not only is he improving by leaps and bounds, he's also improving that forward line, the players in the forward line at such a young age, which is insane. Uh, but that's what I observed. He's Argentinian, but yeah, that was great.
I want to ask now, Abhishar Bhai. Uh, Yesterday we played with the three midfielders actually. Ericsson, Van de Beek as number 8, and Bruno playing at right. We didn't. In my assessment, I didn't see any Bruno, coming very off. He was not, he was in isolated manner. And even if you see the game, if you have assessed the game, the Dalot didn't contributed in an offensive way. He was, he has to stay back for the defensive works. So Dalot contribution and Bruno's isolation did cost us, in the game. That we know that Bruno can contribute in the central midfield. No, his all performance comes in the central midfield. Playing in a right wing did that cost us? What do you
Yeah,
say?
that definitely has, because you cannot deny the fact that we were getting a little bit overloaded on the right side, because that space which usually most of the wingers create for Delor, that was not getting there, because Bruno cannot be your proper right winger if you are playing him. The first thing that could have happened, what when I saw the squad, I thought that maybe Van der Beek would be getting the forward runs and would be playing that false nine usual position which he plays for Ajax. So that was not pretty much evident. Maybe in later run of fixtures we'll see. And still, I feel that apart from, maybe if we'll take two or three players out from our squad, maybe three or four players, we would be seeing this squad more often or not in our cup games. Okay, the Premier League squad would be different. We definitely need a striker and a fit Martial. So those two things would add up, and we'll see these players playing more often than not. And then we could see that how those different combinations. Okay, we might not be always be setting up like 4-3-3. We might be seeing variations, because ETH being so good tactically, and he has some very fine imprints of Pep. Though I would not say, but in this recent time, you would not argue that Pep is not onto different level with what we are seeing the managers for now. So we'll be seeing many more tactical decisions by ETH, and we'll be seeing different squads. Though we need some time, and we'll be having that in later run of not in Premier League, yes, for sure, but in cup games, be it League Cup or FA Cup or Europa, we'd be seeing those stuff.
Okay, Abhishek Bhai has given interesting thoughts on his views. I just want to address some comments here. Rohit Bhai said that he has some thoughts on Harry Maguire as a new striker.
Yeah.
I just I just want to say something about that. That we don't have a striker first of all. Marshall is injured. We know Marshall is injured, and he also stated that Harry Maguire is good in headers. So he was thinking tactically that if he put the balls in the box, then he can head in the goals. So you thought it as a in a strategic way, but as a United fan, I would say that ETH has pointed out that we are short of a striker to the board. Even in the first two games, I don't know who you agree with the Mudit sir and Mudit sir and Abhishar Bhai. In the first two games, he literally played the same lineup that we the United board was obsessed with, and he showed that these players don't have that capabilities to win the game, and he totally
Yeah, like
said that
taking
this
United to next level.
yes,
Yes, we
huh,
cannot rely on the current squad.
we
That's for
can't
sure.
rely on McFred. You can't rely on Maguire and Shaw. So he totally pointed out to the board that we need to send some quality players to win the games. So same thought I would say. Yesterday ETH has pointed out that Harry Maguire, he played Harry Maguire as a striker, or you can say number 10 with Ronaldo, and it really surprised us. Uh, Another interesting comment that Vishal Bhai said that we got yesterday a new striker as a Harry Maguire. Definitely, I would say Vishal Bhai, it is a very interesting comment from you. Uh, I want to ask one question to Mojo sir. Uh, Given the fact that yesterday in the first half we were little bit congested, but in the second half, you know we were totally the Spanish team came in with a very good tactic that we 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 will stop them, but we will not lose. We will not we consider the goal. uh, did you see that refereeing thing affecting us? It did really hamper us in some way.
See, you could argue one or two decisions here or there, but then you are playing Europa League. It's not Champions League that for every second foul or a slight nudge or a slight stamp on a toe, you're going to get a free kick. You are playing Europa League, so they do allow a lot of physical element in the game to come through. और आई थिंक पिछले 1.5 साल से ये हो भी रहा है wherein FIFA has taken a very conscious approach that players जो हैं बड़े, I mean if I could use the term, बड़े छुई मुई से हो गए, जरा सा धक्का लगे and they'll fall down and try and win a free kick, whereas they've tried to cut it down in the last 1.5 years, and that's what we've seen. The a more physical contact with the sport is coming, जैसे होना चाहिए था 1990s में ऐसा ही होता था. People wouldn't go down, जरा सा फूंक मारा गिर गया, ऐसा नहीं होता है. You're playing a goddamn men's game. It's football. I mean, yeah, women play it too now, but so what I'm trying to get to is refereeing decisions. No, I mean, I wouldn't read too much into it, but if I could, मैं अगर उस बात पे आंसर कर सकूं जो आपने सेकंड हाफ के बारे में बात करी थी, somehow I think it is to do with the number of games जो हम अभी खेल रहे हैं in a very short span of time has probably meant that we are somehow a 55 to 60 minutes kind of a team all of a sudden again. जैसे हम पहले, before during Ranick, we were like a second half FC, and before Oli got sacked, we were first half FC. So somewhere that energy level, I don't know where is it sapping off. कि हम all of a sudden 55 60 minutes के बाद we start lacking that thrust or that focus, attention, or the ball control overall. वो हमारा खत्म होते चले जाता है. And that's exactly what happened in the second half yesterday. And the substitutes, I mean, they didn't help. You pointed out about Van de Beek. I think Bruno ko right hand side pe khila ke we basically created a hole in our midfield. And that's why I thought by the time we got to 55th minute, Casemiro looked tired because he was doing so much of running around because Van de Beek was always up in front, right behind Ronaldo, trying to create spaces. So Van de Beek didn't help yesterday. I think somewhere Eric Ten Hag got a lot of things not right. But then, like I said, Europa hai, qualified the. He was trying and testing things. He had to give Van de Beek game time. But no, I mean, coming back to your core question, I wouldn't look into refereeing decisions much. But वो जो आपने बोला कि Real Sociedad अगर जीत नहीं रहे थे वो हारना भी नहीं चाहते थे, but please let's recall the 2 saves David De Gea made. Otherwise it was a draw. So I mean ठीक है, अभी भी second हैं, तब भी second रहते, but David De Gea came to the rescue yet again within 2 matches of making 3 or 4 saves against West Ham and 2 yesterday. Yeah, not a modern goalkeeper, but still stopping shots, eh?
Also, we can. I want to point to Mojo sir that he's not a modern day, but the team is also not a modern day team. So
I agree, but you got to understand आप लास्ट 7-8 गेम्स देखिए, ever since after the City game, you
Hmm.
cannot take away the fact that De Gea is coming off the line to close the angles for the opposition strikers. Point one.
Yes.
Point two, his play from the back and passing out from the back is improved, if not ideal, on par with जो भी मैन सिटी और लिवरपूल के गोलकीपर हैं, मुझे तो उनके नाम भी याद नहीं रहते, मैं इतना यूनाइटेड
Yes.
फोकस रहता हूँ.
Yes.
So, and point three, he has actually started making those diagonal passes to a Luke Shaw or to a Dallo on the wings, so that then they can build attacks from there on. So, in terms of improvement, I would rate David De Gea's improvement something on the lines of about 4 or 5 out of 10 already in the last 2 to 3 months, and that's where comes the point. जो ओली के टाइम पे सब बोलते थे that this team and the bunch of players totally lack proper coaching. Bruno didn't improve ever since what he came, with the skill set he came from Sporting. He didn't improve. I mean,
Yeah.
Christ, वो तो अभी भी improve नहीं हो रहा है, given his जितना भी वो रेफरी के कान में चढ़ा रहता है. But there are players who are improving. Look at Dalot, who's improved. David De Gea, who's improved. And McTominay, who's improved.
Luke
Uh,
Shaw.
Luke
Luke
Shaw,
Shaw.
who's improved.
Yes.
And let's not take it away from him. He's still a little inconsistent, but he's definitely improved. Fred.
Yes. Yes.
So all in all, I'll say is that, and Rashford looks a lot more confident. So
Yes.
all I'm saying is David De Gea with the right coaching, and mind you, he's not now training with the goalkeeper with his old coach, the guy who actually coached him when he was young. I think they parted ways about 2 3 years ago. So proper coaching, proper tactical viewpoint, and David De Gea will improve. And Eric Ten Hag has said that he's a good shot stopper and he's improving, and there's more scope for him to improve.
Um, Now coming back to another question to Mudit sir. Yesterday, how do you see Lisandro Martinez' performance? As you know, he was absolutely brilliant on his defensive work rate. And if you saw his past all the performance, he has been exceptional. He puts his body on the line, everything. How do you see his performance in the past? Do you see him as a talisman in the defense? And what are your thoughts on Van Dijk commenting on his height that it's absolutely shit. You can't argue with that. He is a fantastic defender. How do you
Yeah,
see Mudit?
yeah. So English media has a habit of talking about a player before seeing them play, or probably seeing them play for a game and then pass their opinion as a judgment. Graham Souness has always been someone like that. I mean, see, I don't disagree with him on the Pogba part, but here I kind of I despise what the guy has said about Martinez, and it's great seeing Van Dijk comment on that because Souness is a club legend at Liverpool, and with Van Dijk coming out and speaking in favor of a centre back, it's great to see at least the camaraderie there in terms of accepting that okay, this guy is good, you know. So I'll read out the comment. He said people talking about Martinez and his height are talking absolute rubbish. Hear that, Soonest. They shouldn't even mention it. It can obviously help if you're a bit taller, but it also hinders you in certain ways. I think he did fantastic against us. He's a good signing for United, passionate on the ball, so I can speak positively for him. So and then he went on to mention what the English media does. In England, everyone loves criticizing players about everything, but that's fine because you can't change it. He's shown already what he is all about. So this is a message directly to Souness, to Jamie Carragher, and to most of the Sky pundits.
And Mudit bhai, what I'll also add to what you're saying is probably Van Dijk made that statement because he knew what Martinez did to Salah when we played them. Just
Exactly. I
pocketed
mean,
the guy.
yeah, you can speak with experience. That's why it's
Right.
respectable what Van Dijk has said. So it's great.
Yeah, overall, what Lisandro has added in our defense is what Bruno has done to our offense when he came in. Like
Point.
he
Yeah.
has just taken just water into fish. It's like that. You can see that he has upheld by the collar and taking our defense to next level. We can see that physical presence, that ball distribution, overall gameplay. Like we have not seen many transfers working out immediately post
Right.
Sir Alex time. We have not seen much of that happening. That has happened with Bruno, and now we could see that is happening with Lisandro as well. Even though there is a jury is still out for Casemiro, but yeah, for both these signings, I'd be pretty happy how they have taken into squad.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen. Um, I have another question in the same context. Has he, stopped the debate of Lisandro's height? He can't be a PL level defender.
Absolutely shut it down. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
what
like
better than
this thing
centre
will
back from a rival
never
team get
go.
speaking?
Yeah, this thing
Yes,
will
yes.
never go out of the window, Abhijit. The point is that every time, if he'll be missing a aerial duel, that is he'll not missing it. He's doing very good. He's timing his jump, his everything. But every time he'll miss it, the same thing will come back. So it's for us to better get that monkey off out of our back. We should not be now be considered okay. He's shot. That is okay, but everything else he is so good that we cannot take anyone else over him. Simple as that. That should, like, we should be in that piece. Yes,
And
Moses, you
and
were
I'm telling you, the British media we will be waiting for that one header for Martinez to miss in a challenge, and these jokers will be behind his back as if there
exactly,
is no
yes,
tomorrow. But
yes,
what Martinez does for the lack of his height is that he's an excellent reader of the game. He actually, I've seen one or two tackles which he's made, wherein actually, because he knows he's going to lose that because of that height advantage, he reads it so well that he's actually ahead of the attacker of the opposition to clear the ball out. So his height is not a problem. What you got to look at it is the guy is an intelligent footballer. He reads the
exactly.
game very well. And if he was so fussed about his height, losing headers or whatnot, remember this: he's into what now? Probably the 17th or the 18th game of the season that he's playing for United, and the guy hasn't put a foot wrong. Apart from that one header he missed or one challenge he missed against Brentford for their second or
Brentford
the
for
third goal.
Ben Me,
Yeah,
yeah.
Brentford for their second or the third goal. Apart from that, the guy hasn't put a foot wrong. uh, hasn't conceded a penalty if he was so incapacitated because of his weaknesses. So, nah, Martinez is good, man. He's good. Just let
Yeah,
him be,
I
let him
think
play.
he's among very few player, which will help us being to that next level where we are expecting United to be, where United deserve to be. Yeah, he'd be taking us. I'm for sure about it.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Now coming back to the our so-called tank. You can say cement. We proudly say Mojo sir and I already proudly say a cement. Ambuja cement our Casemiro. How, gentlemen, I want to ask you here that how impactful he has been in our in the midfield. How do you rate his performance? Past is every performance still he has played from now. Mojo sir.
Uh, I would give him 7 to 7.5 out of 10. He's definitely come in and helped that back four solidify. There is and there's a reason to it because see, when Varane was fit, Varane and Casemiro having played at Real Madrid, Varane knows what Casemiro's game is, how he would take the ball off the back four, and therefore Varane's positioning is such that Casemiro flourishes. And then Casemiro, I mean, look, the guy has won everything that there is to win at the club level. तो जिस आदमी को इतना एक्सपीरियंस होता है उसको हाँ टाइम जरूर लगता है एक प्रीमियर लीग में आके एडजस्ट होने में बिकॉज कहते हैं कि प्रीमियर लीग is the most competitive and the most fast game amongst the European leagues. So yes, it took Casemiro a little bit of time to get used to it, but I guess he definitely is that hole in the midfield that we were missing. I mean, can you believe this? 15 साल हो गए CDM साइन नहीं कर रहे थे हम
Yes.
और अब साइन कराए तो कैसेमिरो कराए and it's a bit of a bummer, ठीक है, we couldn't have got him what 2 or 3 years before, but now that we have, the effects on the team and the balance on the entire gameplay is now very much visible. He's very successful in breaking down opposition attacks. He's absolutely brilliant in linking our wings as well as our forward play with the back four. So he's just been immense. He's just been great, and I just hope he builds from this because the more he plays in the Premier League, his fitness and speed levels will get up to mark with what the Premier League demands. But yeah, Cement Ambuja. My father worked for JK, so I say JK Cement.
Yes, yes, sir. Mudit sir, your opinion on Casemiro?
Look, he's a winner. He's won everything at club level. We, I mean, I don't think. See, it's sometimes it's said it's not okay to judge a player based on the trophies he's won or the glory he's had in his career, but this case is different. He's played and won in one of the greatest Real Madrid sides ever. Played alongside two of the greatest midfielders ever, along with others. But yeah, so what he's learned from them is something which is helping us. So if you play around a Cruz and Modric for a decade, you will definitely try to kind of learn something from them or try to understand the game in a different way with a winner's mentality. That is what we were lacking in midfield. And even though he has his limitations, he has his limitations. We know that. We've seen it already. He's been exposed a couple of times. But the mentality with which he's handling the midfield, it's something which we've not seen, as Mojo sir said, for quite a long time, since we were like crying out loud for a deep lying midfielder.
Yes.
What he brings is something totally different to what we already had. Right? We were playing McFred, which is okay. People curse them a lot, but curse the partnership a lot, not the players. But I was okay with it. It's not something that affected me a lot. But then that was the reason why we were either in the top six or probably fighting for top four and not fighting for the title.
Title.
Casemiro
Mm.
Yes.
rises up to that occasion and gets us there in a couple of years.
Yes.
I just
And
want to
Mudit
add.
bhai,
Yes, yes,
sorry Abhijit bhai, I'll just
yes,
add
yes,
to
yes.
what Mudit bhai was saying. Uh, now you look at the fulcrum, वो जो एक team का वो जो spine होता है ना.
Exactly.
Look at Varane, who has won literally everything at the club and the international level. So for him to be guiding the likes of Malacia and Martinez and Delo helps a lot because now you have an experienced senior there. Similarly, you put the likes of Casemiro in there, and all of a sudden you see the likes of McTominay and Fred kind of blossom a little more. You see Ronaldo, helping the likes of Garnacho or Elangas of this world, so they will flourish. So now you have that spine of experienced players who, if are already players who are playing for us for last 3-4 years, want to go back to, understand from them the intelligence of the game, the reading of the game, how to make runs between the channels and between lines. ये चीजें जो हैं आपको ट्रेनिंग में जरूर हेल्प करेंगी. You can learn that from training, but what you can learn from experienced people is unamountable. मतलब उसको आप किसी चीज से compare नहीं कर सकते. Like Gary Neville made this point a number of times that when these guys, the class of '92, broke into the team, they had the likes of Captain Marvel, they have Cantona, they had Paul Ince, they had Steve Bruce to learn from. Similarly, we have at least 2 to 3 players now who together at one club, Real Madrid, all three of them had won literally everything. And the youngsters, and more so the people who had experiences, like Bruno is experienced enough, like Luke Shaw was experienced enough, but they can still learn. And I hope that learning rubs off and we start becoming a cohesive unit. And I don't want to touch upon it because it's not required for this discussion, but I'll just take 10 seconds. But what happened with that Ronaldo saga has definitely helped the team become a cohesive unit. There are no big egos no more.
Yes. Abhishar bhai, your comment.
So that same thing, I don't think the like we could add anything more. Like we could have a complete session on just Casemiro and his impact on the squad, and that will be never ending. So that this guy is world class. You cannot argue onto it. And
Um, Yes,
sorry.
I want to add everyone question. Has Casemiro, Casemiro has brought a calmness and composure in the midfield.
Yes,
We needed that calm and composure.
that's
In the, we whenever Scott McTominay went to defend, he used to fumble in the defend. He used to do some bad
No,
Either he would return the ball
more
or
than
he would pass it in a
yes,
different way. Yes,
that's where we lack, those
yes.
line breaking passes which could help us from our defense or midfield to get into attack. So that was lacking when we were working with McFred. They were good. They were having ball. They were okay. They could pass it back. They'll be passing sidewise. But the passes which usually be on the wings or in the forward lane, that is
You
being
mean the Ericsson
yeah,
passes, yeah?
yeah.
Yes.
Those
Ericsson
those
passes.
have been
No,
added. We
Some intelligent
uh,
passes.
Yes, sorry.
Abhishar bhai, the pass that Casemiro made for Delo versus West Ham,
Yeah,
Yes.
where Delo then crossed for Ronaldo,
Delo then
लेकिन वो
cross.
Rashford
That didn't.
सामने आ गया था.
Uh,
That pass was just out of this world. I
yeah,
mean,
that's what I'm saying. That even if you'd be having those passes, let's say that we expect one or two from Casemiro and one or two from Ericsson. Let's say three or four those passes, which would be critical. Okay, we understand we are not having the striker or forward line which is clinical enough, but we are very high in terms of chances getting created and shots being there, so that will help us even in longer run when we'll be converting those, when we'll be getting those getting into score sheet, that will gradually help us in that defense line would be getting more confident. Like when you are 2-0 up or maybe 3-1 up, then your defense is a bit more confident. But when you are 1-0 up or maybe 2-1 up, so on that time what happens is that your defense is shaky. They know that even an individual error can lead us to point loss. We are making 1-0 win, or so these are not clinical. If you'll see the performances, be it anything, let's say for instance, let's say Chelsea's performance, 1-1 does not justify the first half which we played. We've been so good, but we are not getting the results which we are expecting. So yes, we have few players, we'll be getting few players. I'm very much optimistic, and we are ingraining the quality of ETH game ball, like having those passes, players making run, the inverted fullbacks, which is like more aesthetic to the eyes, and we'll be getting those results as well.
In the chat, as Nagarjun has said that Casemiro is not fully balancing, but still Casemiro makes some miss passing due to which we have been punished. But we'll cope up with that. Yes, definitely, because we have don't have some quality players who can replicate मतलब उस प्रकार हम उसके मतलब we can defend in or we can cover it. Once we bring some quality players, we can definitely cover it all, that whatever errors we have. Casemiro did errors in Real Madrid, but there was Modric and Toni Kroos.
Yes,
He had
players
he
to
had
cover them up. Yeah.
they took cover. So definitely a good point to point out.
And added to
Uh,
that, when we'll be having more squad depth, so
yes,
that will also help. Like you cannot run player every third day with that. Yeah,
and
Moses.
weird enough, there were moments, अगर आपने कल के मैच में notice करा हो, Ericsson was playing behind Casemiro.
yes,
There were moments wherein I was like, "ये क्या हो रहा है? Why is Casemiro not linking with the back four?" But then I guess Joe Van de Beek playing a little further up and Bruno playing on the right wing created that massive hole. So both of them had to drop back.
Yeah.
yes, definitely. I just want to add one question to
Tactically
everyone.
looking, tactically looking at Tana, each player might have a set role or a set position in the team, but their roles keep interchanging from time to time.
Right.
So we've already discussed multiple times. I'm sure we all have. कि attacking में formation different होता है, defending में formation is different. But
Hmm.
when we are holding the ball, even there are certain interchanges between players that kind of look like they are complementing to the build up, right? It's not. I mean, earlier it used to look a bit disjointed, but with those, even the subtle movements which players are doing now. So if you look Shaw and Dallo, they are always giving options to all players in the midfield.
Yes,
It's a great sign because that used to never happen before. So every
yes,
player, if they, I understand we curse side passes, but if you don't have an option and you're being pressed, you will have a player beside you rather than you turning around and passing behind, which is a
Right.
major shift that we've seen.
yes. Uh, Interesting comment from Rohit Bhai. He has said that even Ancelotti said that Cassie can give his best and worst in the same match. Definitely, yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely legendary comment.
Yeah, trust trust,
Uh,
trust Rohit Bhai to come up with that.
yes, 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 definitely. We will. Another interesting point from Nagarjun. See, according to me, for after World Cup, sometime I'm seeing Garnacho, Iqbal playing in the team. Even Malaysia is also getting back. Uh, I
I
would
have a
say, yes, sir. Yes,
how many of our players are going to the World Cup? Does anyone have a count?
I think we have
I, I,
maximum player
I
going
I
into
I think
World Cup.
about 15 of them.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
we
I would
have we
say
have
some.
maximum players going into World Cup. So that
Yes,
is actually good for the like as mentioned in comment. Those players would be Iqbal and Garnacho. They'd be getting much more game time, and that time will help them into getting into confident and ingraining the inputs from ETH. So that will be good from that.
We also have
also,
a friendly during the World Cup or something, or like after the World Cup that
yes, yes, we have some, I think, friendly in the December against Real Betis. I guess we have someone. I think
I guess usme, I don't know what kind of players will play. Van de Beek is not going there. Who else is not going? Will Sancho
Lindelof,
make it to the
Lindelof.
World Cup? I think Sancho को ले जाएगा वो
No,
eventually
Sancho.
South.
Sancho
Sancho, I
is
don't think
doubt.
so. I'm not even sure about Malaysia now.
No, Malaysia. No,
No,
Malaysia
no,
could
Malaysia
say.
is good.
I
Malacia
could
is
say
there.
He
because
Malacia is there.
is
they
So
can't rely on Delhi Blind. I would say
so
if
David De
they
Gea is not going.
no
Um, who else is not
uh,
going? Has Scotland qualified?
no Scotland has
I
not
don't think
qualified.
Scotland is there. No. So
No.
McTominay, Van de Beek, David De Gea, and few of
yes.
these youngsters, Garnacho and Ball and Shorateri, um, Pelestri maybe, Ahmad. So these
Pe-
fellows will be here, I
Pelestri,
guess.
I guess he will play for Uruguay. I guess I think
Okay. Oh yeah,
he
yeah.
could.
Actually, yes, he
Okay,
is in the
He's there.
provisional squad.
there's
Yes.
Tony too. Martial is also here.
Yeah,
Lindelof is
Martial. Yeah. वो
also
मार्शल खेलेगा नहीं ना वो तो इंजर्ड ही रहेगा वो फिर
Marshall is not will play.
Lindelof
I
भी
don't I don't
है.
know what is he heading towards.
Just now we have a comment from Nagarjun that Sancho को बेच दो 90 मिलियन वेस्ट बाय शो बोट करता है
पूरा time दो.
what
अभी young है
just
वो.
in general I will ask the question for everyone. Has Sancho been underperforming this season or even the last season? What is making him to perform in the lowest term? What is exactly lagging for us from him?
A consistent line of games. That's about it. We have to kind of ignore some of his performances and kind of give him like 7 8 matches at a stretch to for him to get into a groove. That's what he did at Dortmund when he started. He was not doing well. He did not become an overnight hit. This guy requires consistent game time in order for him to adjust, which at United is not possible considering the pressure that comes for us to win points. So that is the only issue with this guy. That apart from that, whatever you see, whatever mistakes he's making, it's only because of less game time.
Exactly.
Mojo sir?
I agree with that.
Yes.
Absolutely. I
Abhishek
mean,
bhai? No,
yeah.
okay
Sorry,
sir. Mojo
sorry,
sir,
but
you
go on.
continue. Continue.
No, no. I
Continue.
agree with
No,
what
no.
Mudit Bhai
He,
said.
No.
Absolutely. He just doesn't have the game time.
Yes.
and added to game time, the other factor which Mudit has mentioned, that pressure, the added pressure that comes with playing for United. You can go get into any team. I'll even put City and Liverpool in that level. That if you'll go into them, you'll not perform well. Nothing is there. But if you'd be if you'd be onto United, oh my God, there are million, billion. I don't know how many eyes watching you all
ध्यान
the
के पीछे
time.
पड़े रहते हैं हर एक
Yes,
प्लेयर के
like
मीडिया
we
and
like
every
everyone hates us. It's it that goes irrespective. All the fans, if you'll go like for any fans, if they'd be having any flop, they'll be comparing with whoever player we are not performing. Okay, watch yours. So that is being there.
yeah.
And Sancho, yes, you cannot say that the player that is so good. We have seen him in Bundesliga for Dortmund, how good he has been. So you cannot say that player of that caliber, that level, suddenly all of a sudden will turn like this. No, he requires match time, he requires confidence, and he requires a stable team as well. That
And,
player, yes.
and the funny thing is, guys, Vishal bhai, आप भी agree करोगे. and Mudit bhai, whenever Sancho actually played well or scored a goal, is a time when the team has absolutely been shit.
Yes,
He
yes.
scored against City last season and we got hammered. He scored against Leicester this season. We couldn't get out
Mm.
of a half in the second half, despite Leicester being at the bottom of the table. So उसने जब गोल करे हैं टीम ही ठीक से नहीं खेल रही होती. It's like it's complete juxtaposition. कि यार कुछ तो ठीक हो किसी के साथ. But like Mudit Bhai said, this is United. You're going to be under the microscope all the time. But without consistent game time, nothing's going to happen.
I want to ask Mudit sir also. Has Sancho's performance been hindered due to positional playing? As you know, Shalbhay said that you can't change 3-4 manager and ask player to deliver. He had at Dortmund. In Dortmund, he used to play in some right wing type, and that matchup with Haaland. He used to score more goals, and he used in more assists. uh, we also bought him as a right winger. We in the 2021 season. So, do you see that his positional playing has hindered him, or he's good at left winger only?
What's his age?
Yes, he's 21.
21.
Yes,
In 21 or in your early 20s, a striker, a forward, a winger, a number 9 or a number 10, they can adjust into any position in the forward line and become a great player. It's not necessary that if he started as a number 9 in his under 14s, he's going to be a number 9 all his life. That progression is something which we have to kind of look at for Sancho. At Dortmund, he was great at on the wing. He was great at the center before Haaland came, and then he again turned to the wings and started providing assists and scoring goals from there. So
And
it's
we
not
have
like
to, yeah, we have to
yeah,
demand as well. We cannot say, we have to demand from him, okay, that
yeah,
we
yeah,
as our
exactly.
technical staff, we need to have those forwards who can interchange their positions. You cannot
Yeah,
be
and it's
reliant
easy
on
for
someone.
someone in Malad, Mumbai to sit and say that, okay, bhai, tujhe ye karna chahiye. No, I'm not trying to tell him anything, but he knows what he wants to do. He's come here after a delay of one season. He should have come last season itself. He came here after a delay of one season. He tried to adjust. We gave one season. It's great. Now, what we kind of expect of him is it's a new manager. He's worked under Rangnick, who had a completely different philosophy. He's worked under Solskjaer, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Solskjaer.
yes,
So
yes, yes, Alisha.
who had a completely different outlook towards football and completely different training sessions. So we have to look at it from a human point of view. कि हर player को वो progression से जाना पड़ा है.
Yeah,
And it's not
and
for a youngster like him to kind of adjust. I mean,
and
ठीक
I
है, we
think
have
if he'll not break into England squad now, that tenure of 40, 30, 40 days of him being fit and getting into trainings will help him a lot. We could see a
Yes.
different version of Sancho after World Cup. That's what I
yeah,
believe in.
And
yeah,
and एक वो भी होता है, that for whatever reason आपकी performance अच्छी नहीं थी, and if he doesn't make it to the World Cup, then a player takes it upon himself as a challenge to raise his game, so that um, I mean, World Cup के बाद there'll be European qualifiers, or there'll be other international friendlies coming up, that he gets an England cap. So he will be more
Obviously,
pushing of himself,
yeah.
so that
He'll
he
see,
raises his game.
Grealish
one more
making into squad and Grealish not being that good, but he'll still make into squad, and he'll say his position getting lost. Sorry, Mudit, you're saying something.
no, 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 no. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. It's great. Uh, what was I saying? Fuck.
In the meantime, I'll just add,
Yeah, just start.
Mhm.
unfortunately, Sancho joined us in our most crap season. Um, the season I wouldn't say was a crap season purely because of the point of view that we had our lowest points ever. It was a shambles of a season given what was happening at the club in terms of dressing room leaks, in terms of
Yes.
backstabs, in terms of all sorts of nonsense that could go on in any organization when things are not stable. So he joined us at a very wrong time. And so, like, yeah, I would say give Sancho the time. He will come good. He'll come good.
Yeah, I
Yes.
wanted to say exactly what Rohit has said. Thank you. याद आ गया आपको. So he said you can't mess around and spend time stating, oh, I'm not getting game time. Some sort of content. Not going to the World Cup should motivate him. This is what uh, everyone or Sancho should look at. With the penalty miss in Euros to coming back again to United to start showing that okay, yeah, we have someone who can do great, and he performed very well. Uh, and then
and
eventually, again,
and he did have about two or three, not two or three, but three or four decent games
yes,
where he played really well.
Yes.
But then I guess the last game he played, he was very good in the first half, and then he fizzled out in the second half. I don't know what goes on with his concentration.
mm,
Reminds me of Martial of the old. Martial would play a good, very good 35, 40 minutes, and then he will, he'll wander off into wilderness. पता नहीं क्या हो जाता था उसको. I think Sancho within last 2, 3 games has
yeah.
gone that same route.
And he
But no,
showed that.
like Rohit Bhai said, yeah, not being selected for England should be a kick up his backside, and he starts performing well.
And
And
Ten Hag should notice
coming
this.
coming time, yes, in coming times we will not see like players our forward line being judged on to goals or assists. We'll see, those runs, those pre-assists, and those
Overall,
big chances. Yeah, overall we'll see more of it. We are getting there, but the finishing is just what we are missing now.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Today we had a press conference about Aston Villa's game before pre-conference press conference, and one question was asked that are Sancho, Anthony, and Marshall will be available on Sunday. He said that it is difficult to say in the moment. I have to hear how the progress and if they can be available for Sunday match. Uh, Also, they have yesterday, if you saw the game, Victor Lindelof was little bit off. He was when he went to the dugout, he didn't go to dugout. He straight went to the tunnel and he went inside. So that is a really something concerning. I would say has something is still ill. I would say he also had said something about Lindelof. Also, he on the third choice center back. I don't ever think about it. He said that he doesn't think about it and have to see for Aston Villa, and that have to be a difficult one because they have a new manager. So I'll have to analyze for that game.
my
Yesterday,
ears have been dying to hear a manager say this.
yes,
I'll have to analyze the game, that
yes,
team.
yes, yes. Just I want to point out that we were fortunate yesterday that no player came injured because the way Real Sociedad came in a physical way in a second half, really made a fear in me that no one can doesn't get injured and that injury can carry on through the World Cup and hindered our in the next coming months. So one of a fortunate time for us that we no player came injured. So how do you has that in yesterday's game injury uh, मतलब उसको मतलब हम अगर ऐसे एसेस करें कि फिजिकली आए हैं वो तो आई एम आउट ऑफ वर्ड सॉरी
No, don't worry. See, what I'll say is Aston Villa के against,
हाँ
good कोई injury नहीं हुई थी. And I
हाँ
think Victor Lindelof got a slight knock. And it was smart कि Eric Ten Hag took him off. इससे पहले कि continued him and then, it becomes a tissue tear kind of an issue. You take him off and, put him in a cotton wool. Um, लेकिन एस्टन विला के अगेंस्ट with this new manager क्या नाम है यार, I just did that, good Ebbing, what's his name,
Unai Emery
Unai
Emery
Emery. Oh man, he's going to put the football to sleep, man. But anyway, मैं ये कह रहा था कि Aston Villa after sacking Steven Gerrard have already shown a major bounce back. वो जो एक new manager के assistant manager के under होता है ना, they absolutely ransacked Brentford 4-0. I think it was 4-0 or 5-0, something like that.
yes
And if are we playing at home against Villa in the league? Because we're playing them back to back. एक Carabao है, एक Premier League है.
I think
I think
we
Carabao we are
have
playing at home, if I recall correctly.
yes
Away, Premier League.
Premier League we are playing
Premier
away.
League away yes it's in Villa Park
So Premier League away, a bounce back to a bounce on a new manager with their home crowd. If Sancho is fit, he needs to play. Simple as that. And if Malacia is fit, he needs to play. You need to give Shaw a rest. Um, I think he will play Maguire and Martinez in the in the center of the defense. Van de Beek will play because he's just had one game time. I really hope we rest Christian Eriksen. The guy has been run to the ground with his medical limitations. Scott McTominay could play because he hasn't started a game for about 2 3
Yes.
games now. So rotation is
Mujhe
definitely required.
sorry to cut you in between, but with
Right.
Bruno not being available
Yes.
and Van
Yes.
de Beek being a little
Point.
dicey for the match, do you see Eriksen playing in number 10 role? Maybe he'll not play the workhorse role this time, but
I think
as you are saying that we should give him the rest. So that's
I
what.
I I totally agree with you because I totally miss the Bruno not being available because of his fifth yellow card point. That's
Yes.
a very good point you make there. तो मुझे तो मैं तो भूल ही गया तो yes, I guess then it leaves him with no option but to play Ericsson. Otherwise you're losing that entire creative thing up front.
Yeah, you'd not be having anyone in the midfield who'd be,
Right.
creating those for our forward. So we would be needing
Mhm.
Eriksen very big time.
Right.
So वो एक point है. तो अब
Uh,
that's what I wanted to understand that आप देख रहे क्या? Are you seeing Eriksen being playing as number 10 role, which I've been craving for quite some time, like that will give rotation to Bruno if
I
Eriksen
mean he
plays
could.
at number 10.
I mean, he could with Van de Beek and Casemiro just behind him. I mean, that's a role that can that can be given to
So,
Eriksen. And
so in
and if
case
that happens, that gives Ronaldo a lot of freedom to run through the channels, which Ronaldo prefers.
So in case if you see that okay, Van der Beek has something that will not make him eligible for our next match, and Bruno being suspended. So who do you see as a number our midfield like in whole? Who do you see as okay? These would be the player I would want to see.
But then the choice is pretty straightforward. अगर Casemiro को भी rest करना है, Casemiro को खिलाना है, so you go Casemiro, Fred, and Eriksen.
Okay.
Definitely. I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
say. Mudit sir, your comments on that. Who will be the
I
midfield?
see. I agree with the fact that rotation is important. It's needed. ठीक है Carabao Cup है. I think we could see one or two academy lads coming. I agree with Nagarjun. I can see Zidane coming on. I think Garnacho will play this game again to give him like 2 games back to back, which would definitely help him, and then he can also give confidence to Iqbal, to kind of. I want to see young lads playing in that midfield to see what options they can give to a forward line, and I want one senior deep line midfielder to be there all the time. I don't want two. I want one and go on attack, go on full attack. Keep one deep line midfielder, maybe Casemiro or
Fred.
Fred, and then
But
move on youngsters in the
uh,
front line.
Mudit, sorry to interrupt, but do you see this happening on the Premier League match?
No, no,
Because
no,
I
no,
cannot see this. Ah, okay.
no,
For
no, no,
Carabao Cup, you
no.
are saying that then it's
Yes,
fine. For League Cup,
yes.
if
I
you are
think
saying then it's fine. Yeah.
as Ten Hag is as a personality, he would definitely try something different in Carabao Cup than what we've already seen from him. Tactics are what
Yes.
he's all about,
Yeah.
and he has a lot of them in his bag. So I won't be surprised if he goes with a formation that he wants to attempt to see what result it brings. It might affect us negatively, but I don't think he cares about that. And as long as he tries to understand, okay, this is a formation that we can use with certain players in our squad,
With
that brings him to transfers. That brings
yeah,
him
with
to transfers. So he would have to see what all formations he has in his bag, what all he's learned at Ajax, what all he's implemented in his career, and then see if this system, a new system, can be worked out at United, and if we need a specific player for that in the Jan window. So
Yes.
this could be interesting in those aspects.
And I
Uh,
guess ये
yes.
जो भी trial and error करना है with regards to new formations or new tactics, it's best done at Carabao. Look, I'm not suggesting that we get knocked out of Carabao, whatever,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
let's be a little, pragmatic and sensible here. If we win Carabao, if we progress through Carabao, well and good. But if we don't, then look, I am shitting pants on the schedule after the World Cup.
schedule,
So
yes.
Yes.
whatever he has to try, give the likes of Garnacho and the Iqbals and the XYZs of this world a chance into the new system which he wants to implement or try out. Do it at the Carabao, please. No,
Yes.
because we are at the cusp of the Premier League top four, wherein, despite our horrendous start, we are still in touching distance if we can be consistent enough and injury free to at least finish third or fourth.
And I believe that this season it will be difficult to break into top four. Like for the previous 3-4 seasons, getting into top four was a bit easier because you see City and Liverpool, and then you see a huge gap. But now this season, what is happening? Okay, you are seeing City and you are seeing Arsenal, which they'll anyway they'll
Which
get
we all
into
know is going to go down.
scrapping into top four. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That in the end they'll be scrapping into top four, and there is a whole lot of 4-5 teams in that same bracket, and the teams ranked in lower positions, they are also taking points and they are doing good. So this season, I believe that getting into top four, having said that, world cup is in between, so you don't know that which god forbid for us, but for any of the team for Premier League, which player will get injured, what will happen, that is like that is out of the window. And
Yeah,
that we discussed
See,
earlier,
I
that
yeah.
sorry,
sorry, go
Moses,
on, go on.
just yeah, was
No,
just one final thing. And seeing, Haaland being in, as we have discussed earlier, one more time, that Haaland being available for 40-50 days of rigorous training. Oh my God, that guy, when World Cup will end, he'll be coming out like beast.
that's
Uh,
what I was saying. जो आप top four की बात कर रहे थे. I believe Tottenham will run itself out. That's what Spurs are,
Tottenham are
and
getting. Is it just me, or you guys are also seeing that Tottenham are getting like not we would say specifically, but lucky. They are getting more lucky in that past like 7 or 8 games. They are just
yeah,
scrapping out. They are just making into
exactly.
it.
Exactly. So they are scraping results, but what's really going to affect them is that Son might not be available for a good few weeks or months, given the surgery that he's got to go through. And I think that they will stumble out of top four. I'm 100% convinced about Spurs. That leaves between us, Chelsea, and let's be honest, Newcastle over January will strengthen.
yes.
ये बात पक्की है. वो नए
100%.
players लाएंगे January में because they can see top four in the grass and they are beginning to play well. So my worry is between us, Chelsea, and Newcastle, the last two spots for top four. And somewhere I believe if the Glazers can get their fucking hats on and think properly, and if they give Ten Hag two players, even two players, a right back and a proper attacking midfielder, may it be a Gatko or whatever,
Or a striker, man.
we can give it a good tilt in the Europa and the top four. Otherwise,
you know,
the top
yeah.
four is there for the taking.
and
I'll just say
and
that top four this
and
season under Ten Hag is there for the taking.
and Liverpool
Only
would also be
only if
making run better
Abhishek, I
after
just
World
want
Cup.
to point
Sorry.
that, and I will say
The Liverpool are finished. Liverpool are not going to make it.
no, no. Liverpool are out of
And
the
you,
scene,
you,
I
you
would
you
say.
got to think this that Liverpool are still to play Arsenal, or have they played Arsenal?
They have played
They've
Arsenal.
lost. They've lost
They have
They
against
lost.
Arsenal.
lost.
They
They
have
are still
lost.
to play Chelsea, and I think they're playing Spurs this weekend,
Yes, yes. I think they
right?
are Spurs. I would say Spurs and someone in
Yeah, they're
top
playing
So
scene.
I,
Spurs.
I I don't think I honestly don't see Liverpool making it. I don't.
Yes, yes.
I think their season
Uh,
is gone.
You
Also,
know
I
how
want
I
to
see it?
point out that top four that you have said, Mojo sir, that it is a for a taking for ATH. We also have to think about that we also need some quality players in some areas. We can't drain out Dalot in full season. He has played something about 20 plus games continuously, and he has been not been rested on. He has been subbed only. Proper rest is not has been given for Dalot. Even Ericsson has played some decent number of games, but he has taken only 1 or 2 games rest. Until and unless we sign some quality players in these areas, and even in the striker, we have to sign on a proper striker. Until and unless we don't sign this in 2 3 areas, we can't, I don't see even, top four, because it's really, 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 difficult, because we don't have that squad depth. We still rely on some players to, for the individual brilliance, to
Yeah.
perform in, to kick in. And
Mm.
after the World Cup, that fatigue will kick out in the some players. You can say in Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, or you can say in Lisandro Martinez. So
Huh.
so these points have to be, considered. We have to sign some players in January, and it will be a very crucial window for United to
You know,
sign some
yeah.
players.
Yes, so I think this has already been discussed in the United boardroom. Of course, they
Yes,
would. There is no
yes,
chance they haven't till now.
yes,
It's something that should have been discussed in the summer itself.
yes,
What is the plan for January? Because that's how fast forward Eric Ten Hag wants things to be. And with the setup that we have now, I think we definitely have a plan for Jan. And I think
And
two
with
players will
us,
definitely come, especially with regards to the fact that one, we may get two or three injured players from the World Cup, considering
Yeah.
how Licha plays, considering how Casemiro goes into tackles, considering how dedicated Bruno and Ronaldo are to their teams. We could 100% get some important players injured when they come back
all
towards it.
all our players, you see Dalot playing, you see Shaw
Yeah,
playing, you
yeah,
see even Fred playing, you see
yes,
Rashford playing.
yeah,
We would see all our, 9
yeah.
or 10 proper squad players what we are having now. We would be seeing them play for their national team in and out. I'm not saying that they'd be
Yes,
playing
each
one
day.
or odd match, they'd be playing 90 plus minutes on almost all those game days.
I agree.
No,
Which
the
is
good
why,
thing is, जो मैंने WhatsApp अपने ग्रुप पे भी शेयर करा था, the good thing about this World Cup is at least in the group stages कि आपका हर मैच 5 से 6 दिन में आता है. So
yes,
while in the Premier League you're playing one game, while in the domestic league you're playing Europa, Premier League or a Carabao once every 3 days, at least World Cup के पहले 15 दिन में you will have a rest of about 7 to 8 days cumulatively put together. So that's what these players will need, and if they can recoup between that and then freshen themselves up and then make sure they're injury free by the time they come back will help. But you're absolutely right in terms of signing new players. आप अपनी forward line देखो भाई.
yes,
मार्शियल injured है, सैंचो का पता नहीं, Anthony is still getting used to it, Ronaldo
He's
is
he's also
almost getting
injured.
past it, Rashford is still, get the ball, put your head down and run. He's still developing the other aspects of his game. Elanga, you cannot trust. Garnacho, you do not want to overload on too many expectations. So basically, बचा क्या यार? Igalo को ले
yes.
आओ. He was still better.
On the
needed
contest,
players.
as Mojo sir said, against Aston Villa, what will be the forward line? Because as Eric Ten has pointed out today, is that Sancho, Anthony, and Martial, they are still doubtful for the Villa's game. Even for the Fulham also, and for Carabao also. So, what do you see forward line playing in the Sunday's game?
Or you want me to say that?
Yes, sir. I ask everyone,
Uh,
everyone.
in Carabao, I will just go Sancho. I think he will play Ronaldo, and I don't know who's going to be. I think he's probably play Garnacho off the left, get Sancho on the right. That's about it. Because if Anthony is injured, then you're not going to get Anthony to play there. And Martial, although कह रहे थे कि he's back training on the training pitch, how good is he to come back into a match? Although having said that, अगर एक ounce of iota है कि वो fit है, then Carabao Cup is the right match for Martial to come back and get some match fitness.
Yes. Mudit sir, do you think Ilanga playing on the right side has, it doesn't make sense to play?
I just mentioned earlier in our discussion that young players should be able to play anywhere they are asked to.
Yes,
They are growing. Each position that they play in, they will learn something from it and they'll understand whether they are well suited. And the manager's job, of course, and the coach needs to work with that. I don't mind Elanga playing anywhere on the field
yes,
because what I see in him is giving 100% for the team. That's what we live for. So I understand the wings issue, what position he wants to play. But if he plays and gives 100% in every position, or even on the wings, I wouldn't mind him there, which is what Carabao Cup brings as an opportunity to such a player. So yeah, I think he should.
But Mudit sir, yes, in the West Ham game when we played on the right wing, you know, if you see in the I've saw seen in the Athletic also I read, he was not in the part of the tactics, in the passings, in the build up, he was nowhere, he was far away from it, he was stretched away from the
Exactly.
build up.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hmm. Which
you
is
know,
which is why such things need to be thrown onto the pitch to understand what the manager can get out of that player. Which is
yes,
what I love about Ten Hag, because he'll give you opportunities and then he'll analyze how he can use you better or make you
yes,
better. वो देखे बिना ही, if he kind of decides like, ठीक है, I don't want you.
yes,
Like for example, he
That's
did with
what
yeah,
proper coaches do. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what proper managers do.
Yeah.
yes,
So
Abhishek,
at a
yes.
young age, I'll again repeat, you have to adjust to playing anywhere on the field despite opposition being your strong play. Then you will know where you are best at because the coach will help you.
Yeah, because previously we were having this thing like our players not performing well, still getting into squad, not performing well,
Yeah,
still playing for. Yeah, so that is evident now that okay, if you're not good enough, you are at bench, no matter who you are. Maybe you are Ronaldo, maybe you are greatest of all time, but you are not. If you are not doing good, you'll not be starting.
yeah.
Okay,
Point.
okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, sir. I have one of the interesting question for the gentlemen, anyone for the chats who are watching us. Do you see Harry Maguire playing in the defense in the Villa game, or you see Lisandro Martinez? As
I
given
see Harry
the
Maguire playing as centre forward.
yes, yes, definitely, sir. We will insist
Also,
it.
see, कल वाले episode था, one of those things which the funniest side of United games that has happened. I mean, it happened during Sir Alex time as well, wherein
Yeah. Goalkeeper,
we,
O'Shea.
we had
O'Shea was the
sorry, yeah, we
goalkeeper.
had O'Shea in the goal in the
हाँ वो
goal.
शे
We
वो शे
had Bebe and we had Kleberson and we had God knows who all. So it was one of those moments. But the funny side is that I, as a fan and an old school fan, when the statement came out that we are trying to win headers with Maguire, um, Maguire doesn't win headers, man. His headers go everywhere. Where they're supposed to go, they don't go. I don't
Yeah,
think. I think
he'll
he's only
win
scored.
and he'll not
I think he's only
return
scored
anything.
one goal with his head against Chelsea, and I think it's for the FA Cup or whichever cup it was. I
Leeds
think
also
last year,
against Leeds
also against
also.
Leeds. Yeah. So
Yes,
in some 80-90 appearances for United, he's only scored two goals with his headers. So that was a weird thing to be considering.
One
कि
of the biggest
Maguire
reasons
आ
why we
जाएगा तो
signed
वो
him.
खेलेगा.
One of the biggest reasons why we signed him was because of his ability to score headers.
And then that's
इंग्लैंड के लिए भी
exactly
रुक
what he's
गया
done.
वो.
We call him a
यहाँ
slabhead man.
आके इंग्लैंड के लिए भी रुक गया वो.
Exactly.
yes,
So, no, coming back to the question, Abhijit bhai, जो आपने पूछा था, I think Carabao में we should definitely start with Maguire, and if Lindelof has a knock, and if he can shake that off, then I would definitely start Maguire and Lindelof in the Carabao and keep Martinez, give him that much needed rest for the Premier League game, which is about 3 days later.
yes. Mudit sir,
हाँ, क्या था question?
will
Maguire
Harry
defense.
Maguire start
हाँ,
on
yeah, I
Lindelof?
absolutely, man. Even Malaysia will start, so it's something
Yeah.
that I'm looking forward to. So definitely, इस game में तो खिलाना ही चाहिए. It would be too much if he's not played here and he again goes with the Martinez. Martinez needs rest. He needs to
Yes,
recover, and Maguire needs game time in order to have
You know,
some say in the World Cup
and,
squad.
and I would
Because
go so much.
Southgate, मुझे
Yes,
sir, you also think so? Southgate will definitely start Maguire. Do you think, despite not having
I
game
think
time?
he will.
yes,
He's
he
fucking
will
Yes,
definitely.
fascinated with
He will
Maguire.
start.
exactly. Which is why I want Maguire to have game time. Otherwise, World Cup में public चढ़ पड़ेगी उसको
No,
कुछ
but
किया.
still, I think that with the evolution of corner, Cody might give some competition for Maguire. You
भाई
guys
नहीं,
don't see?
Southgate
Oh,
Southgate is
okay.
obsessed.
No, no,
Yes.
I've seen that Maguire not getting into United squad and Cody being very good with Everton. I see that he might, maybe they both will start. I'm not very sure, but they both offer almost same thing. So
If if
I'm not sure.
Southgate
Yeah.
thought on those lines, we would have won the 18 World Cup. We would have won the 20 Euros.
Yes,
So yeah.
definitely, definitely, definitely agree with Modi sir comments. Okay, thank you guys. We have been live for around 1 and 15 minutes, and thank you, Mojo sir, thank you, Mudit sir,
Thank you, guys.
thank you, Abhishar bhai. You really, really gave some value.
अरे यही चला
Oh,
गया.
where is he gone?
I think उसका
I
I
don't
quite,
think
I,
he
I,
is.
quite, I quite like. I mean, if you're still online, Rohit Bhai's comment, Maguire to Southgate is what Alo is to samosa. That.
Yeah, that is
I mean,
funny.
trust
Sorry,
him to
sorry.
come up with this, man. Where are you sitting in Kolkata and talking about samosas, anxiety bhai, or you're back in Patna? I don't know, but
Yes,
no, I mean it's been great being on here. Yeah. I've been on after a very long time, and it's good to have a chat with Modit bhai as well, and good to
yes,
know Abhir
yes.
bhai as well.
Yes, yes.
Thanks.
We
Same
expect
here.
you to be, consistent in these videos. We really,
Hopefully,
really miss you, and you should be in this interesting discussion we do for uh, this channel. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the everything you have been, and
Thank you, Abhijit. Thanks for having us.
I would like to tell everyone that please like, share, subscribe. You know, वो घंटी का बटन हमेशा मतलब दबा देना. And
uh,
we use some interesting comments. We are united. We are Red Devil, and we do love. Please show some loves in the every department we have. We have an Instagram. We have Twitter. We have WhatsApp group. Please join there. Everything in the 24/7. We have some very really, really interesting discussion with the Red Devils, and it's really really
Yes,
worth it.
especially the WhatsApp group. It's very very
Yes,
active.
especially I was about to say that वो एक कहावत थी ना अंग्रेजों की कि मतलब the sun never sets on the British Empire. हमारा WhatsApp group ऐसे ही है. It's 24 hours,
yes,
man.
Yeah, we have
yes, yes, yes,
24/7.
people. Yeah, we have people from all across the
uh,
world, and they'd be
Yeah,
yes,
talking in
exactly.
there.
It's absolutely
yes,
great. It's absolutely wonderful.
yes.
You you,
Thank you,
you
guys.
go to you go to bed at 2:30 at night and you get up with 700 messages.
Yes, definitely, sir. It's an interesting conversation in the WhatsApp. So please do join there and give some love as. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys. Take care.
Thank you. GGMU.